Welcome to Crash Course Hockey. I'm your host, Corey Heon. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome, everybody, to episode 3, along with myself, host Corey Heon, Joe Coombs, and Alex Sherman of both our junior teams here in El Paso. How you doing, guys?
How about them Cowboys?
How about it?
How about those Cowboys?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, right? The tough weekend. Yesterday was...
It was a great weekend around here.
Yeah, great weekend around here for sure. Joe, you were off, but Alec, 2 out of 2 this weekend.
I'll take it. Yeah, Joe, no wins this weekend, huh?
Absolutely zero. I'm like, no, you know
This
what?
is the first time we've had a podcast.
I got
where
one
get
win
to
this
say that.
weekend.
Yeah.
I got one win this weekend. The Cowboys lost.
There we go. Fair enough.
KC's tonight. Yeah. When does KC play?
No, they already won.
Oh, man. See, where have I been?
I think the Dolphins are still thawing out. They've been back in Miami for 2 days.
Yeah, they got pumped. That's right. Yeah. So 2 wins this weekend. Good crowd.
2 wins, good crowd. We came out flat in the first period in both games, which was tough. But overall, it was good effort. We got some guys, some games that don't see the ice too much. They all worked really hard. They deserved it. So, it was a good weekend overall.
Yeah, no, it was certainly good. 4 points, which was great. Unfortunately, the game yesterday was canceled due to inclement weather moving in the Dallas area.
Cowboy area.
The Cowboy area.
Yeah, it was inclement, all right.
In the Dallas area, which I had a conversation, obviously yesterday early, and we decided that it would be best to, or pardon me, on Saturday, I should say.
I mean, player safety is
Absolutely,
definitely key.
100%.
So I can understand and appreciate that.
They were here. Sorry.
But yeah, no. So we're it'll get rescheduled to a later date. We're not sure when, but that'll happen. Colton Plant scores his first goal.
Yes, 30 games played this year. Scored his first goal.
That's awesome.
I told him he wasn't leaving the rink without a goal yesterday.
I was talking to him before the game, just asking, how he was doing, and he was really, really antsy to get that first one, and I'm glad for him. He's a great kid.
He's such a great kid. After every practice, he comes up, gives me a fist bump. Every game, thanks, coach. And yesterday, after I tossed him his puck, he came and gave me a big hug. He's just a great kid, just a hard worker, salt of the earth. Just wants to be here, wants to do what's right. Never complains, on time. Just a great kid.
I did hear that on Friday night, because unfortunately I wasn't in attendance, that Strickland, you gave him an 8-minute shift.
It was
to
maybe
try
8
and
and a
score
half.
a goal. Yeah, 8.5. 8.5.
Wow.
And he couldn't get her, eh?
No, just couldn't. He tried.
I wonder if the 8 minutes had anything to do with it.
He couldn't lift his arms.
You know what I
He's
mean?
like Prescott.
Well,
Did he score in warm up?
I don't
Counts
know.
in some leagues.
I don't think so.
So I got my 75 in Pup A.
Oh, yeah, but
You heard about that?
yeah,
We
I
talked
did.
about that, yeah.
I've read
It's
the
everywhere.
articles, too. They just throw that in the Googler.
Yeah, Googler.
Yeah, we put him in front of the net and just said, "Hey, put your stick on the ice." And Arias and Gutierrez are out there with him, and he just couldn't bang her home. So,
No, Colton Plant.
Trying.
That's awesome that he got his first one, and his both nights in attendance wise was packed.
yeah,
It was good.
great. It was
Really,
great.
really good.
That's
really,
good.
really good. And it's nice to see that we've talked about this before. Our fan support with both NA3 and NA has been doing extremely well, and it tends to pick up second half, and we're seeing that. Even the first half, I know there was a
good.
bunch
Yeah.
of sellouts, so it's awesome.
Yeah, there was quite a few fans that said this was their first game
Yeah.
on Saturday night. So that was cool to talk to them. And I went out with my daughter skating after the game, and a couple people came up to me and said, "This is my first Rhino game. This was awesome." So
that's
That's good to hear.
It was good and nice to put up some points. Sorry that we spent some money on the CO2 this week. I know
Yeah, man. It's Jay was a little upset that the siren.
Well, the
wasn't-
pucks went in the net. They weren't lost, so we should be on.
Well, speaking
we should be
about
on
pucks,
par.
Yeah,
speaking about pucks, I went for a puck walk. You guys will be getting an invoice here later this week.
Oh, my.
And
Service
we said they were
fees.
$5 a puck. No, man, it's like $6.50 because they're logoed.
Oh.
Just throwing that out there, guys. So
How much for the logo? $5.75 because those
Yeah.
pucks are
those
Okay,
are
basically
those are
tennis balls.
special pucks.
Whoever is out there,
Those
whoever
are
is out
special
there
pucks.
wants to sponsor the
Yeah.
puck. If we're looking for a puck sponsor,
They
Wow.
have to be good.
they have to be $4 a puck.
Can't bounce.
Yeah, they can't bounce, and the puck budget should be about 14,500, I think, probably.
the way you guys go through pucks. Because
Well, no, there's only 400
after.
per pucks, and then 14 for
Just like,
service.
but wow, exactly.
Well, I understand it's him. They're heavy.
They're good pucks.
Case of pucks
They're good
is-
pucks. They're
I think
weighted
it
for
costs
our.
more to ship a case of pucks than it does to buy a case of
No, that's not true. You're shopping in the wrong place, man.
pucks. Well, I know we're doing something wrong.
Yeah, you guys can't keep pucks.
There's netting everywhere around here. Where are these pucks? They're like socks.
No, it's because
Where's the other
they're
sock?
the pucks are so good. Players are like, shit, this is a good puck, and they're putting them in their pants. I saw it.
Something's
I'm not lying.
happening.
No, I think they're
We
just
have
bouncing
live
so
word I
much
saw.
that they're bouncing
They're
over
probably
the sticks and
selling
then they're out of it.
They probably are. Jay's like, hey man, we're short 14 pucks again. No wonder he's buying lunch every day. Old Dr. Sharp, so he's on the prowl.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, your puck walk is slacking, man.
I was giving it to him today. Giving it to him because you did the ice because Herm's not away and you're absentee this morning there, so he had to do it. And Sherm had the boys out there this morning cutting her up, and we skated out there. And I was like, "Who did this ice today?" Dr. Sharp. Dr. Sharp, this is unsatisfactory.
He's so funny. He comes, I'm filling up the Zamboni, right, to flood for you guys after your practice. Yeah, that's what it was. He's like, I was just coming down. I said, hey, man, you come down to flood? He's like, I can. I said, perfect, man, thanks.
I told him this morning as we're bringing Herm back. You're out. He's out there right now.
It's like, so we build the ice up a little bit for holidays at the ice rink, right, because of all the patrons that come in for public. So we build it up. We don't cut it as much. But when your first game back, I'm at the Zamboni and I'm like, man, when's the last time we actually chipped? Pardon me. When's the last time we edged?
Yeah.
Because it was like, it seemed like this, but it wasn't. And so I go to Herm. I'm like, hey, when are you getting back, man? Well, hasn't Jay been doing it? I'm like, I'll ask him. But we always poke fun at Jay, so this is we're just.
This is
poking
all
fun
about
at
Dr.
Jay.
Sharp.
Dr. Sharp,
Yeah,
Jason.
Dr. Sharp.
But successful weekend. This weekend you're going to Louisiana.
Yep.
You guys fly out Thursday.
Yep, it's gonna be a matchup. They played in Atlanta this weekend. They took 3 of 4. They're climbing. I think they're only 6 points behind us. So if we have a rough weekend, they're right there, and then we're out of a playoff spot. So we really got to come, focused, ready to work, and really bring our.
And it's a
That's
fun,
how close that is.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. It's
Sixth
almost as close as yours.
place is sixth place is only like 8 points behind. We're only and we're in
Okay,
fourth,
but
so.
in ours, we have 9, right? But 9, 8 are
So,
out.
yeah.
Right. 7 is it's Corpus, but they're getting better.
Yeah.
But it's really the 6th through 1, right, in ours. But to be out of the playoffs and being as good as you are, that's
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's always like in the NA3 and with Alex's division, it's. I don't want to say it's top heavy, but
4 make it.
yeah. But there's always 5 teams, and then that 6 that are always in the mix.
Yeah.
And,
I think
it'll go right down to the wire, man.
Yeah, we're 10 points behind first, but we're 2 points out of second.
Yeah, with
Three
No.
games in hand on New Mexico, 6 on the second
Brahmas.
place Brahmas, and then I think we're even with the Roadrunners. So it's tight,
it is tight.
but with the games in hand, that hopefully it'll help.
And Louisiana is a fun place to play. It's the rink is very unique, and it I think it is awesome just because it's just how it is, right? Like it's smaller. The ice.
Ice sheet, smaller sheet.
It is a smaller sheet. It's the fans are kind of like right up on top of you, and they chirp you. They have a good time, but they chirp their own guys, and it's comical. And they feed you guys after the game. Their booster club, and I think they do a good job there. They do. Game times are at 4:00 every night.
Yep.
Because their public skating is a monster. But they do well. They really, really do.
Do you think the Cowboys got post game meal last night? I don't.
I don't.
I wouldn't let them eat.
They'd probably be on the bus in like 15 minutes.
I was going to say.
I wonder if
how
McCarthy
quickly you think you can be
packed up his
out
office yet,
I don't know.
because that's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? I'm not I'm not a fair weather fan, unlike some people sitting at the table here.
Yeah, well, that's about the Lions, isn't it?
Yeah,
You're discussing the Lions.
Guy
right now.
lives in Chicago.
I was
Claims
born
he's
in
got all
Lansing,
this-
Michigan, for
He has
the
all
record.
this bear
Bear
gear,
stuff. Yeah, I
and then
know.
all of a sudden he comes in today.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm all about
Detroit.
the Lions.
You guys are just upset that your team's not playing.
I don't have a team.
What, the Rough Riders? When's their season?
Right? The Red
Lost in the
Calgary
Great Cup, man. What are you
Stampeders.
talking about?
Doug Flutie, buddy. He tore up the NFL for a bit, didn't he?
Isn't that the best league in the world when you have 2 teams with the same mascot? I think that's awesome.
I got a funny story. So you guys, well, you would probably know. Remember, like they had the those interaction games that you could call plays in football.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to be a run or a pass, what side. So the Stampeders were in the Grey Cup. Mm-hmm. And we go to this establishment and we pay our.
You know what? Actually, real quick, Grey Cup is such a good name for a trophy.
It is.
It's the oldest trophy in football.
Is it really?
Well, is it real football though?
it is football.
It's our version.
You only get 3 downs.
Right or wrong.
You guys need 4.
Well, okay.
You need a
so
wider field.
I don't know where you're going with your story
So
here, but I'm
what's-
going to say if you would have bet 75% pass, you made a lot of money.
Exactly. But anyway, so the pod got like $500 and a free tab. I won. And apparently there wasn't enough people participating where the $500 was taken off the table, but I got a free tab. I was like, you guys are brutal. I was
free
I was not
tab's not
happy.
bad.
Yeah, but like
Yeah, I get it.
$500 would have been a good night.
And you're about 20, right?
yeah, I was
That
about
was the last
18,
time
19.
Calgary's in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
exactly. But
They're
you know,
like the Cowboys.
but they had Doug Flutie, man.
Yeah, they did.
And what's Jeff Garcia?
Yes.
He was the backup
Yeah.
to Flutie.
Yeah. He was a 49er.
What do you got?
Yeah.
Well, you got 2 teams to choose from, apparently.
Well, a team that's in the playoffs right now, not the Cowboys.
So enough with Sherm about the Lions and all that good stuff. But
They're gonna take it.
Congrats to them, though. That's awesome that they made the playoffs, man.
About time.
I thought it was going to burn last night. I thought Detroit was going to burn, and then when you looked at the temperature, it was like there's not a chance. You can't get your gloves off to start the match. It's so cold.
And then kind of switching gears here, Joe. This weekend, big weekend here for you.
Yeah.
We talked about Corpus coming, how they're getting better, and
they are.
And here we are.
I was happy to hear they didn't. I was really concerned 2 weeks ago. They swept Odessa at home. Then they swept somebody else. And then
Do they play this weekend?
and then
This
they
past
got,
weekend?
Yeah, they got swept by New Mexico. They got swept by New Mexico. So it
In
was-
Corpus?
I
don't know.
I think it was in Corpus, and that was.
Yeah, it had
I
to
was
been, 'cause
like,
NA3
hey, I don't
was
want to see
playing.
those guys coming in here, on 6 straight, and we've been off a week. You know, we practiced this morning for a good hour. It was we just went competitive, and we didn't make them think too much. We thought we'd get them back into the swing of it, and I had to call them in once and be like, okay, let's remove the pianos from our backs and get at it here a little bit, and it was okay, but it's got to get better and better each day this week, and I'm sure it will. But
Frankie and the Blank, you better?
Frankie, yeah, Frankie and the Blankie.
That's good. I
It's
saw him on the
just-
weekend. He was here. I was
Did
like,
he have
hey,
a-
Frankie and the Blank. He's like,
oh, Cubsy.
yeah. He talked.
Yeah, he looked good this morning. I talked to him. We did. So the players were rattled. We have lots of face-off plays that I don't put in. I put them in periodically, and because number one, players don't remember them, and you're only using them with one line because if you put a face-off play on and it's an automatic out if you don't execute the face-off. So I decided last week that they needed something to do this weekend, so I made up
That's right.
a face-off book, and I was like, okay, it'll be tested on Monday. Right? So we called them in 2 at a time, and we were like, hey, you only have to do 3 of, and I think there's 10 offensive zone face-offs. I think there's 10. It's like you only got to do 3. Well, they were done pretty well. Trigger, 0 for 3. I was like, Trigger, we're gonna retest you tomorrow, man. I've never done that before, but it was fun because the players they invested in it, and it's usually you run out and run a face-off play and say, okay, guys, remember it and never talk about it again. Yeah. And in this case, they had the opportunity to study it a little bit. I'm sure a lot of them were doing it this morning, eating their frosted flakes.
Crap, we got to turn this in. Let me see what you put.
I'm going to put tomorrow, I'm going to make them do 3 more. And they couldn't do the ones because we had to put their names on the top.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, though, because my daughter, I think it was last week. She's like, we're getting tested. Tested on what? Face-offs. I'm like, are you good? She's like, no. And I'm like, how do you not know your assignment? Like, and so I go, how'd you do? She's like, not good. I got like 1 or 2 right out of like 5. I'm like, come on, kid.
Okay, but you.
And she's a D.
Okay, we all played,
Yeah.
right? We all played. If you would have, given me a face-off play, you better given it to me before the game, because I wasn't remembering it. I wasn't probably.
Right.
Now as a coach, you ask me any face-off play, and I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
Why? Like, why wasn't our mindset like that?
Yeah.
Because our players are the same.
Yeah,
Like, they were
honestly.
nervous. Like, I think I saw some bullets of sweat coming in. Like, guys, it's not that big a deal. Because chances are,
more fun
like,
for
you're on the
you.
4th line. We're not running a face-off
Yeah.
play.
That's just it. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, dude. It's okay, man. Trigger, you're okay.
Oh, God.
No, I don't mean that. You know what? He's one that we would run with, but usually you don't, you know? Like, just being honest.
No, but it's, and the higher you get, the different assignments you have and different roles you play. And there's face-off specialty guys. There's guys that are PK guys, PP guys, and just kind of where you fall in the mix, man. It doesn't take away from your skill set.
No, but how many times did you just, like, first time you walk in the door here, we're like, what are we doing on face-offs? Wingers lock. Right? Simplest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Wingers lock in the neutral zone. Wingers lock. So how many times? Here's a question for you. How many times did you?
Oh, you're putting me on
Yeah,
the
I'm
spot.
putting you on the spot. Did you just line up, look at the guy, and just stand there and not do nothing? Because
I
I
was
did
a,
it.
I was the centerman, so I didn't have to worry.
I'd be standing with the guy, I'd be looking like, yeah, whatever.
It's like, hey, can you just stay here? Just stay here, man. We'll
It's why
both
we-
win.
It's why we played where we played. I mean, wonder why we played there.
Yeah. So the funny story, like when I was playing college, we used to do this battle drill, right? Like 1-on-1. You know how you protect the puck and the guy on the outside is hitting you in the hips and stuff. Well, me and this Mike Reese guy, he's a monster. We just took it a step further. Like we'd be up against the boards, not open ice, and he'd just touch me, and I'd go flying into the glass, and I'd bang my stick and get up, roll around, and he'd fall, and the coach was like, "That's how you do it. That's how you do it." And I'm just like, "You got to be kidding me! That's how you do it." That's fucking he and Reese drill right there. I'm like, "Oh my god, dude!"
That's funny.
It was funny. I'm just like, the minute your stick hits the glass and you fall down, it's like, man, look at those
We're
guys
still
working.
fooling away.
Oh yeah, it was funny. Mike Reese, what a character.
Yeah, that's awesome. There was one. You remember Andy Bezo
Yep.
and another guy, Mike. What was his name? So we're trying out in Kalamazoo. We're doing this puck goes in the corner 1v1 battle. Well, these two guys are crazy. I mean, they're off their minds, both of them. They go to the corner. Coach is at the start of the line, and he dumps puck in the corner. They both go in. They just drop their stuff and they go at it. So he blows the whistle and says, "Okay, enough, guys." So instead of coming back and going to the end of the line, they just went right back to the front of the line. Put their stuff back on. Coach puts another puck in, and the exact same thing happens. And I'm standing there going, "Oh my god,
Where am I?
what am I doing here?"
So, before we get too far off track,
Sounds like yours, right?
it was unreal, man. So Corpus, they're coached well.
Yes, good guy.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
coming in there.
Sylvain Cloutier. Yeah.
He's skating on Thursday.
Oh, they
I
are.
think-
They
I
called
get-
this morning. I just told them to call you.
Yeah, they're skating 2:00 or 2:00. I think they're skating. Either way, but they're, he's always good. I talked
Yeah.
to Cass. Cass called me early in the week too, or last week towards the end of the week.
He called me too, and I missed his call. I called him back. He never answered, so we never connected.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, very much. So.
Cass, good guy, good organization, and they
It
try
should
to
be
do the
fun.
right
It's
things.
going to be nice to play somebody other than who we've been playing. We seem to play.
Yeah,
I mean, what we have New Mexico 9 times in 7 weeks.
yeah.
So it's going to be nice.
That'll
to
be
play.
nice. Yeah,
yeah.
it'll be good, and I think it's going to be pretty busy in here. Really,
Good.
really busy in here. We got the scouts coming in. There's one of the guests coming in, which is awesome. Little
Good.
guys, they
Good.
love it. So that'll be huge. Yeah, it's gonna.
I'm
be,
looking forward to getting back at it. It's been a long, we came off of the road trip. We had a lot of guys sick, and it was a really, really, really dull week last week. It was fine. The guys had a ton of fun, but it wasn't. We weren't pushing, and we pushed this morning a little bit, but we're going to push again tomorrow morning, and we got to get back on it.
Tuesday, Wednesday, skate Thursday as well. Pregame Friday,
Yeah.
and then you'll skate tomorrow and Wednesday.
Tomorrow and Wednesday.
What time do you fly out Thursday?
8:30 a.m. I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's not too bad.
Not too bad. I get there by 3. So
That's good.
Oh, good.
yeah.
Do you have a connection?
Dallas.
Dallas?
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
That's not a bad. That's not a bad flight.
No.
It's really not.
Is that Lafayette?
Yeah. Lafayette.
Is that where LSU is?
Yes.
Beats me, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I believe it is because we were in there one year, and we had a tough time getting buses.
Oh, I'm sure football?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I don't think they're obviously they're not playing now, but
How far,
Neither are
how far
Cowboys.
is that east of
2 hours.
How about them Cowboys?
Baton Rouge, I think it's 2 hours.
So, but Shreveport, like 4?
Yeah, maybe.
Another 4? So it'd
gotta
be
be
like
something like that,
18-hour bus trip if you bust.
We got stuck there, like 5 years ago when we had that Arctic ice surge in West Texas and
Oh,
Louisiana.
yeah.
So we played, and on the Sunday. So this is why I respect the rescheduling and caution on the side of safety type thing. So the game on Sunday,
Sorry.
the game on Sunday, there was weather coming in.
Yeah.
And we literally, it was warm up right into the game, barely a flood, like it was on and off, so we could try to just beat the rain. And unfortunately, their team, they did everything possible to accommodate, and we got stuck there for like 3 days, I think. We couldn't even get the bus out of the parking lot of the hotel because it was on we had to get up a hill, and then with all the, the grid freezing and all that stuff, I think it took us like 5 days to get back.
Oh,
And it was miserable.
Yeah, that sounds
miserable.
terrible.
So, I don't think there's weather going over there, though. I don't think.
Hope not.
There's a stretch from Lafayette to Lake Charles, and we were probably on the side of the highway for like 3 hours. Just
like when you're this far south and you get bad weather, it's not bad. It's horrible.
yeah.
Like there's no, bad weather what we're accustomed to from the north where we're from. And there's a lot of there's a lot of definitions of bad.
Yeah. I
Down
think Chicago
here
got
it's
10.
bad.
Well,
It's terrible.
It's just like when up north, people are like, "Oh man, there's a heat wave coming in. It's 90 degrees for like the next 2 weeks." So it's kind of flip flop, right? They're like, "No, that ain't hot." Just like they say, "Well, that's not cold," but it is what it is. Just what you're accustomed to. In El Paso, when it snows, I think we got one snow plow and one salter. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I lived in Philadelphia and they put snow plows on the front of the garbage trucks in the city. Yeah, they don't have any snow equipment whatsoever.
yeah, it's rough.
Yeah,
So I get
sure.
it. What else on the horizon, fellas?
Other than those Cowboys, nothing. I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Weekend will be good.
I'm looking forward to
Weekend
the
will be good. I think you're wearing your neons.
I heard that today. Jay came in and said we're wearing the neons, and I saw a picture the other day of Tori Lund on Instagram in our whites, and I took a double take and thought, you know what, that's sharp.
Yeah.
Those whites.
I rememry our first year when we went to the showcase at the NA.
Yeah, I remember walking by
'Cause
your
you
game.
made a
yeah,
comment.
I walked by your game. I was because there's 4 rinks, and so you walk through the middle and the quad, I guess you'd call it or whatever. And I looked down and said, God, who's that? And it was you guys. And they're sharp. Those whites are they're magnificent. I think they're all good. I think just the white. I like our whites. I think they're great.
Yeah, no, they're
Really
you get
sharp,
a lot of
clean
like
lines.
when we had our girls program, like our Lady Rhinos.
Yeah.
So we had the white jerseys, but with the pink strip. Around.
Yeah,
the
I remember
remember,
you
yeah.
showed me a picture. Yeah.
Those are really sharp. Like Corey does a really good job at designing. I think he does. Well, everybody that partakes in it, right? But we're always changing, always trying to do something, and I think they're pretty
The
cool.
whites are really traditional, like
Yeah.
just straight lines and clean.
Back in the old days, we used to the orange
Yeah.
with just rhinos across.
Yeah, I remember.
I
I
love
think we
those
played.
jerseys.
You, I think we
jerseys,
played you guys when you guys were in those. That was.
Is that when you beat
We
them?
beat you.
Yeah.
3-1, I think, at Nationals.
Did you win nationals that year? Oh no, we didn't either. Sorry.
Yeah, we got knocked out. I beat you guys. It doesn't matter.
That's why you beat us because we didn't care.
My last junior game was against you.
Was it really?
Was it really?
Yeah, you guys
We won
pounded
3-1.
us. 4-1.
4-1, whatever it was.
So you do remember.
Who? Yeah, I remember. I remember
Copper-
because half
Coppersmith-
the team played for
Yeah, I
us.
was gonna. Yeah,
Coppersmith
got
didn't want
guys
to go
for
me.
you.
No,
It was my last junior game. I wanted to go. He didn't want to go me.
you're probably too tall. You're a tough cat.
Yeah, I know.
I would like to have seen that.
Me too.
I'd like to have been in it. Did you guys see whatchamacallit? Terry Ryan, 47. Did you guys see that?
Yeah,
I saw that
yeah.
Did
today.
you see that? Did you play against TR?
Probably.
For sure you did. What a beauty. I don't know him. We have a lot of mutual friends. I've never been in his presence, but he's a funny guy. I listen to his podcasts. He just rambles on sort of like what we do
So-
here. But he played.
Was his what was the reason behind that? Was he a
You know what? I haven't dug into it that much, but I know that it was his birthday. And he got a phone call from somebody he was saying, and he hung up on him. He was like, "Hey, you want to come play?" And he's like, "Shut up," and he hung up. And then I guess the important guy or the owner or whoever it was called and said, no, we're being serious. So it was his birthday. I don't know if they did it as a to get people in the seats.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know they did not win the game, but I thought it was unbelievable. They put a mic on him before the game, and he's like, "Hey guys, I don't want to be a sideshow. I want to play for real, and we're playing for keeps here, and ignore that I'm here." And he went out and got into a tilt.
and I don't think he did very well.
No, I don't think so. But
Because
good
when I
for
saw,
him, man.
I saw two guys fighting, and I was like, man, that guy's taking a few, and they were talking about Ryan and this, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's him.
Yeah, and he's not a very big guy.
No.
I don't know him. I know he's a funny human being. The Newfoundlanders I've played with, hilarious people, good people. I was happy to see it. I think he played a regular shift. Like they might have been down in players too. Like I don't know why he played, but at the end, you're still dressing 18 at that level.
Yeah.
You get a couple injuries, and
Oh, yeah.
Terry Ryan's 2 hours down the road, and
needed
he's a
time.
body.
Why not?
He's an NHL player. So.
Well, his helmet's off, and he's going to the penalty box. He's got salt and pepper hair. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, that's him. Well, good for him.
It was
though.
good. Yeah,
Good
it was
for him.
cool. It was cool. I like to see that kind of stuff. It's positive and good. And like the Lions. The Lions were positive. Very happy for the
very
city
positive.
of Detroit. Every player that in my 23 years as a coach, probably more players from the state of Michigan than anywhere. Probably would be my guess, or close. And I know each and every one of them haven't seen a playoff win. So
Yeah, I know Frankie DeBlanky had a Lions sweatshirt on
he
Saturday
did.
night or
Yeah,
Friday
so
night.
did Eddie Shepler. Eddie Shepler walked in today too, and Eddie walks proudly but quietly. And he walked in today, and his chin was pretty high. This morning.
Well, after 3 decades of taking a beating,
It's easy to hold it high.
you can kind of just let it pass. But yeah, good for them.
Yeah, it's good.
So this weekend, both teams, guys, it some needed points, obviously, on both sides. Joe, you're tight too.
Did Shreveport get swept? Somebody said that this morning. I didn't.
Yes.
Look at it. They did. 2.
I don't know, but they didn't.
Then for
Because now,
the ebbs and flows, right? But
yeah,
but we're
but it's so tight. Even with the Brahmas, I think there's
not a lot.
there's not like it's.
I think
right
there's
there.
6 points between us and them, and
Yeah.
we have 2 or 3 games in hand on Lone Star.
Yeah.
I know Shreveport. We haven't played them all year. We don't play them for a while, and I know we only played them 4 times. So
Well, this weekend's big.
we
No
just
doubt
take
about
it
it.
one at a time. Just
Yeah,
take care of
one
one at a time. But it's going to be nice to be back at it here and for a lengthy home stretch here too.
Yep. Nice.
Which is always nice. So
And then Alec, you're traveling. Make sure you eat some gumbo up there.
Oh, absolutely.
They got some good Cajun food for sure.
Po' boy, muffaletta,
Yeah.
something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
There's a spot right in the parking lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
what do you like? Mud bugs?
I used to be a chef. Yeah, I like everything.
Yeah. Is that in season right now?
I don't know.
Crawfish?
Probably.
Crawfish, probably,
Yeah.
Crawfish in season?
I would imagine. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'll find out.
I'll take 10 pounds.
Put them in your luggage.
Fly home.
Why are you filing a cooler home? But anyway, no, it should be a good weekend for both. Looking for some wins, obviously, and get back up in big weekend. Probably
Yeah.
put you in second place.
Hopefully. I think Roadrunners play Mid-Cities this weekend, so
Is Jones
Wow.
back?
Jones is back. Yep, from up north, so he's back. He's ready to go.
Good.
So
But again, guys, good luck this coming weekend. We appreciate you guys hopping on again, like always, and we'll do it again next week. And we got a cool special guest next week too.
Cool.
So
Right on.
Awesome.
I'll fill you guys on that later. But yeah, it should be another good one.
All right, wonderful. Good luck,
Thanks,
next
guys.
weekend, brother.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you as well. Appreciate it.
All
Good
right.
luck, fellas. We have a special guest, Mark Frangenfeld, the president and commissioner of both the North American Hockey League and the NA3. Mark, welcome.
Hey, Corey, thanks for having me on. I always love talking about the leagues, and especially with one of our own family members. So glad to be here.
Yeah, I know, with the schedule with all the events going on and, the weather, it's been kind of crazy the last, 3-4 days. And I know you were scheduled to be at the show and unfortunately weather got the best of you.
Yeah, it's we got to remember we're involved in hockey, and that happens around a lot of cold weather, right? And so down here in Texas we don't get as much of that, but you get up in the Dakotas or up in the Northeast or anywhere else, it's Canada, there's a heck of a lot of weather. So you got to roll with it, you got to adjust, you got to plan, you got to try to get out early, you got to try to make the games and everything as safe as you can. And then if they can't make it safe and timely, then there's always time to do it again. But yeah, just avoiding some collision with weather, but glad to be on.
Safety is the most important thing, right? And we experienced that this weekend with a game on Sunday with Mid Cities, and both our association and theirs, and with the league, we decided to postpone it, which is probably the best thing. Kind of going. So, Mark, you've been involved with the North American League as president and commissioner since 2007, I believe, correct?
Yeah, 2007, I came on as a commissioner. I was in operations 3 years prior to that. I coached for 4 years prior to that after an 8-year vacating the league, but I started in the league in 92 as an assistant coach in Cleveland. So I've been around the league in one capacity or another for a long time, yes.
And it's, like a lot of people out there, a lot of listeners, like the North American League has been around, I think this is the 49th season, I believe.
Getting ready to have our 50th anniversary, and it's pretty exciting. And like I said, just watching what has happened here with the league and the growth, the level of ownership, the number of players that get to play at this level now and then advance to college is just really incredible. It's been a really incredible
the umbrella
ride.
itself, it's the USA Hockey umbrella, part of obviously with the North American League, the NA3, and NA3's been around for I think 13 years now. This is the 13th season.
NA3's, yep, they're 13 years young, but they existed as other junior leagues, and there's actually language and bylaws back in the 90s where the two leagues, the NA and the old Central States League, were combined. So it's kind of a reuniting of what should have been, from the beginning,
Right.
underneath the umbrella. So it's been a
Well, it's an amazing structure of how it's all built. And if you want to just kind of touch on for the listeners, like, the relationship between the NA and NA3, then to the show and to the PHL and et cetera, because it's, I'm involved at a pretty high level, and it's taken me a little while to understand it. And, some of the viewers, if get a layman's kind of explanation would be great, Mark.
Yeah, it's an acronym word salad for sure. But when you put it all together, I think the way to simply explain it is every one of our leagues that we're involved in is about player first and advancement to play college hockey.
Yeah.
And so if you're in the PHL, we want you to advance and eventually play college hockey. You can advance to the 3, you can advance to the NA, and then on to college. Either way doesn't bother us. We want to advance them. You get to the 3HL, it's really a pretty cool dual advancement path. It's the only league of its kind that advances players to the NAHL at the level it does. There are some other leagues that advance some players to the NCAA Division III level, but the 3HL is the only one that advances players to the D3 level, ACHA level, which is a great level of hockey for players that are really good at academically. But the story we're just starting to see, and it's just starting to get told, is how many 3HL players go to the NAHL. So it's another dual level of advancement on their way to college, but they may end up playing Division I, play in the 3HL, play in the NHL, you may end up playing Division I. And then in the NA, we're solely in business to develop players, at a certain level, get them exposed at the highest level and advance them to the NCAA. And so the mission, from our ownership that supports players first, we're trying to develop players for college hockey, and we've been fortunate enough to develop this ecosystem, this vertical advancement path through our youth, through our tier 3 junior 3HL to the NAHL to college. So that's really the simplest terms.
Yeah,
Player
right, yeah.
first, we're going to play in college, and we're going to develop and advance them on the way up.
That's, you know, it's an incredible structure how it is, and the footprint of it all. And, you know, some of the bigger events that we had, and you know, my first one attending a couple of years back was the NA Showcase in September in Blaine, Minnesota. That was absolutely amazing. If you want to touch on that a little bit, Mark, as far as the scouts that come and you know, the eyes that get seen on these players.
Yeah. Yeah, the showcase is one of those things that you can understand if you've experienced it. It's hard to explain, right? It is hockey at every level. It's at the super rink, which is 8 sheets of ice, that vertical exposure models there. We have youth, we have the juniors there, and every scout from the NHL to the NCAA that's possibly out there comes up to watch these guys. It's an early identifier. You know, scouts have their list. They're watching guys develop. Sometimes things change in their list, you know, and such. So it's an early identifier. They start really getting close to who the players are. Then they take that showcase from there and who they identify. If they like some guys right away, they'll start the process to recruit them and sign them, or they'll just start the process to how they're going to recruit them throughout the year by going to individual games or events that are in the future. But it is it's like a hockey fraternity of every year of players and coaches and former players and coaches. And if you're in the hockey world, you can go there and see people you haven't seen for years and just can't believe where they were, where they are, what the story is. It's a pretty incredible event. It's a Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl of showcases. Except we start it in the beginning of the year instead of the end of the year. So
Right. And you know, the North America 3, the NA3 has the same in December, which is just as equally awesome of an event. So, you know, there's a lot of time and effort that goes in by your staff. And, you know, it's amazing when you look at who's all involved with your immediate staff. And it's not a lot of people for what you guys get done. That is for sure.
Well, thank you. And a couple things there. One of our general core principles are, if it's done in the NA, it's done in the 3. And so the way we can manage as many leagues, as many teams and 2 leagues, and in as many states across the country is have some symmetry between the processes, the events and such. And so the 3HL showcase is on the same premise. Get everybody under one roof. We bring the show division of the PHL there. We provide internal advancement scouting tender mechanisms for the NA guys to scout and tender the 3HL guys, and for the 3HL guys to scout and tender the PHL guys. And so it's like you said, it's equally important, and it's also great to have everybody, you know, from such a vast geography under one roof, getting to see each other and compete against each other. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. And they're, you know, again, your staff and the arena staff do an amazing job, you know, orchestrating that and keeping everything on schedule, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really good. You know, we have in March, we have the Fraser Cup for the NA3, and then we also have the top prospect for them, kind of a conjoined event, so to speak. Tell us a little bit about that, Mark.
Yeah, so when you talk about what's done in the NA is also done in the 3HL, there's also a top prospect event, and there's also a championship. And the 3HL championship, the Fraser Cup, has just been an incredible event for the last 5 years. It's just really evolved. The level of play is incredible. It's almost like you look at the NAHL back in the mid 2000s as that league is just developing, right, into what we are today. The 3HL is on path to be a destination league for players that want to move to college. But I'll tell you what, we thought that it was important for scouts to be able to see the rest of the best players in the top prospects event during the Fraser Cup, during the 3HL championship, just because of the level of play. That event was also combined with a NA combine, no play on word there, but the idea is that you have every NA scout in the building. It draws a ton of NCAA, ACHA scouts. And again, it's that vertical exposure model. You have the best players in the 3HL there. You have the NA coaches. You have NCAA coaches there. And then you also have a youth category there that everybody can scout and help promote and develop and advance players onto the next level.
Yeah, it is truly a cool cool event and how it's put together. And then also in February here, next in a couple of weeks, we have the NA top prospects, which is with our board of governors meeting, which is good. I'll get to see you face to face then. But tell us a little bit. I know it's going to be same thing, but if you just want to kind of go off that as well.
Yeah. So like I said, it's an acronym word salad with all the different, leagues, the NA, the 3HL, the show, the tier, the TP, the top prospects. But the top prospects events for the NA, you go back to the showcase conversation back in September. These scouts are identifying guys, whether they want them to start recruiting them now or just start to go out and watch them and see how they develop. The top prospect event in February is designed for those scouts to take step 2, watch these players develop across the course of the season. Also, again, scouts have their lists and things may change on their list. They may have needed a forward back in September. They may need a defenseman now in February. So we take the best players that are still available, that are not already committed, and put them on a platter for all the NCAA coaches in February. We also have a team that's picked by the NHL Central Scouting. Those are typically our younger guys or guys that are more so in line or eligible for the NHL draft. A lot of guys that are on the NHL watch list and other high-end guys like that are there. And again, it draws over 200 scouts, and it's a heck of an important part of our advancement piece, because a lot of players the commitments start flying right after that top prospects event.
Yeah, we got our very own Joe Coombs will be there for that event, assistant coach on one of those teams. He's pretty excited about that. So we talked about that last week on our podcast. So he's pretty excited.
Well, Joe's always good to come around. You know where you stand with Coach Coombs. I think he's a little old school, a little tough guy to play for, but he's fair. And I think that is you look at some of the success you guys are having on the ice right now. It's all part of that culmination. So we always look forward to having Coach Coombs, and we have coaches meetings as well.
Yeah.
Because our coaches are some of our greatest assets, and we like to get them in a room and get some feedback and understand what's going on in the landscape of recruiting and all the different challenges. Take that information and continue to try to mold a better tomorrow for the North American Hockey League.
Yeah, it's definitely important to get their input, as you guys always do. So that's good. I know we're pressed for time here, Bart. So let's just move on real quick. Give me, lastly but not least, the status of the NA3, status of the North American League. Is there anything coming up for them as far as expansion? I know it's kind of a touchy subject here and there, but just give us a little idea here.
Well, in the NA, we've increased up to to 32 teams here, and it's been really good because the new teams that have come in have been great owners investing into great markets to give back to the players and the community. And if we have that formula in all of our markets, it's not a bad formula. Right. But we're gonna make slow decisions from here, and I think the biggest challenge is probably right now in the league is that you got the South and the East have odd number of teams, and that makes it hard to schedule sometimes. Other than that, the ownership across the board is in the best shape it's ever been. The boardroom's in the best shape it's ever been. We got great people doing great things for the communities and the youth, so it's been just fantastic. The 3HL, again, as I mentioned, has evolved, just incredibly involved, and I think right now what you're seeing is some interest in the South by Southeast. There's some interest in the Southeast. It'd be nice to get that geography in our family and back into USA Hockey, or if you will, that. And then I think the Northeast. We have 6 teams in the Northeast in our East Division, and the division is just continually to get stronger every year. And we're looking to grow that to probably 8 teams. But from a structure perspective, the leagues are in better shape than they ever have been. The ownership is fantastic. Everybody's strong, ready to roll. And now it's about containing our growth and making sure we maintain standards and continue to push, what we need to do for the leagues to get to the next level at developing, exposing, and advancing players. So players will continually consider these leagues as destination spots to go play on their path to college. And right now, our owners are doing a great job in both of those leagues.
Well, thank you for that. And, I can speak firsthand for, our partners in the South Division. We have our own challenges, as you know, and we seem to make it work, and everybody is willing and able to work together, which is awesome. So, and that's a correlation, hats off to everybody involved, including guys at the league and everything like that. So I know, Mark, I know you're pressed for time, and I want to thank you very much for jumping on today's call. I'll see you in a couple weeks, and
Yeah.
it should be a lot of fun. We'll see you, Mark. Thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Corey. Good luck to you guys, and look forward to seeing you here in a couple weeks in Pittsburgh.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Take care. Well, it's contest time, everyone. This week's question is, what year were the Rhinos founded in? Please type in the comment section below. We're going to announce the winner on next week's podcast for a set of 4 tickets and a ride on the Rhino Razor at any available home date of your choice. Good luck. Thank you for watching this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please remember to like and follow. And remember, take care, comb your hair, and keep the stick on the ice.